Devon stood by the bedroom door with his arms crossed, watching me struggle to sit up. The surgical brace was clamped tight around my waist, and my hand still had a dark bruise from the intravenous line. He looked at me with complete indifference and announced that 12 members of his family were arriving this Saturday to stay with us for 2 weeks. I stared at him, waiting for the punchline, but his eyes remained entirely cold. Only 5 days had passed since Dr. Mercer finished the delicate surgery on my spine. He had warned me in a stern voice that I needed 4 full weeks of complete rest, with no lifting and no climbing stairs. The printed instructions with those strict limitations were sitting right inside my nightstand. I looked at Devon and quietly asked if we could please postpone the visit for just a week so I could heal. Devon did not even look up from his phone screen when he told me that nobody was waiting and I just needed to do as he said. His words did not hit my chest, but rather sank into my stomach like a heavy stone. After 22 years of marriage, he had never spoken to me with such chilling dismissiveness. It felt like a manager denying a simple request from an employee, and a deep realization began to take shape. For more than 2 decades, the relatives of Devon invaded our home every single summer like a demanding army. His opinionated parents, Arthur and Beatrice, dictated how I cooked and cleaned. His brother, Jared, always claimed our home was the true family property, totally ignoring my own presence. Along with Jared's wife, their loud teenagers, and a chaotic toddler, I spent every summer serving 12 people without a single word of appreciation. I bought endless groceries to satisfy their specific diets, prepared every bed, washed mountains of laundry, and coordinated every single meal. Nobody ever asked if I was exhausted or if the timing worked for me. I thought of our daughter, Haley, who was away at college and completely unaware of my pain. I remembered the promise I made to myself in the recovery room to finally start protecting my own physical health. Instead of taking a pain pill, I reached for my laptop while Devon slept soundly beside me. I did not search for recipes or shopping lists this time. I opened the digital folder containing the deed to our home, which my father had secured in a fireproof box years ago. My parents bought this property back in 1994, and I grew up in the very bedroom where Beatrice slept every summer. When my parents passed away, the house was left solely to me, not to Devon. He had never asked to see the deed, assuming that my childhood home had simply become our shared property. In his mind, my ownership had dissolved, giving him the right to invite 12 people without my consent. Seeing my name listed as the sole owner under the official seal of the notary gave me a sudden, quiet strength. The next morning, I contacted Evelyn Vance, the trusted attorney who had handled the estate of my parents. I explained my major surgery, the impending arrival of 12 guests, and the refusal of Devon to compromise. Evelyn listened quietly before reminding me that I held the sole legal authority over who stayed in my home. She explained that setting boundaries during my recovery was not a form of cruelty, but a necessity. I wrote her words down on a sticky note and began to construct a careful plan. I was not seeking revenge, but I was terrified of what would happen to my spine if I surrendered to their demands. The house my father left me did not have to be a place where I sacrificed my health for others. By Thursday afternoon, I had scheduled 3 very important phone calls from the quiet safety of my parked car. The first call was to Apex Renovations to schedule urgent drywall and floor repairs that would take exactly 2 weeks. The second was to a technician to inspect our loud air conditioning unit. The third went to a painting company that required the house to be entirely empty during their work for liability reasons. All 3 professional crews were confirmed to arrive on Saturday morning, which would resolve my hosting dilemma completely. My insurance approved a short-term stay at a local medical rehabilitation facility, which offered proper physical support. I packed my bags on Friday night while Devon was out, leaving a simple, factual note on the kitchen counter. I explained that I had relocated to recovery housing and that the house was closed for long-awaited renovations. I drove away to the quiet apartment, feeling a deep sense of relief. On Saturday morning, 3 vehicles packed with suitcases and coolers pulled into our driveway. 12 excited relatives stepped onto the lawn, only to find 2 laminated signs posted on the front door. The notices clearly stated that the home was closed for active renovations and no occupants were allowed inside. Through the windows, they could see workers in overalls laying down heavy plastic and preparing the floors. Devon called me repeatedly, and when I finally answered, his voice was filled with intense anger. He demanded to know what I had done and accused me of ruining the family vacation. I kept my voice perfectly calm and reminded him that I was recovering from spine surgery, just as I had told him days before. I explained that I had simply prioritized the repairs and my own physical survival. Beatrice called me next, screaming that I was incredibly selfish and had humiliated the entire family. I did not argue with her, but instead texted her a photo of my official medical discharge papers and surgical restrictions. Later that day, Haley called me from college, laughing as she revealed that Beatrice had tried to recruit her. Haley told her grandmother that she needed to respect my recovery, which made me smile. Devon was suddenly forced to manage the massive logistical crisis that I had silently handled for over 2 decades. With no local hotel vacancies due to a wedding, he had to secure expensive rooms at a premium hotel. The cost for the 2 weeks came to nearly $4,000. He spent his days coordinating meals, driving relatives to pharmacies, and handling endless complaints about pillows and food options. I spent my days doing physical therapy, reading, and enjoying the quiet of the rehabilitation apartment. By the middle of the week, the text messages from Devon began to change from angry accusations to exhausted updates. He complained about the constant demands of his parents and the endless grocery runs. For the first time, he was experiencing the invisible labor that had kept our summers running for 22 years. While resting, I opened a financial spreadsheet I had kept for 15 years. I had tracked every summer expense, including the massive spike in utility bills, the damaged air mattresses, and even the flights we quietly bought for his parents. When I calculated the total cost of their yearly visits, the number was staggering. It became clear that our marriage had been sustained by my silent sacrifices, both physical and financial. When the 2 weeks ended, Devon met me at our renovated house, looking visibly aged and defeated. He confessed that he had never realized how much work went into hosting his family. We sat down to discuss the future, and I made it clear that things would never go back to the old way. I learned that standing up for yourself is not selfish, but the only way to survive.